All right, good evening everybody and welcome back to Walks and Wall Street. Today is Saturday, September 30th, 2023, and it is about 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time here in New York. So before we get the live stream started, I just want to go through a couple quick announcements again. Obviously today, if you could believe it or not, is the last day of September. It's kind of crazy to think about. September sort of came and went with a flash. So today is the last day of September. Tomorrow will be October 1st. And Monday will be October 2nd, the first business day of the month. So there will be no live stream starting Monday, October 2nd, going all the way through Wednesday, October 4th. We should be back live starting on Thursday, October 5th, and then we will be back on our regular scheduled programming. Starting Thursday at 8:30 p.m. or 9, depending, we will be live from downtown Miami or Brickell. So I think this is going to be the first time many of you will be seeing a live stream from Miami, which I'm really excited about because the city has a lot to offer. It's a beautiful city, it's magnificent. And I think it's going to be interesting to give you all a nice walking tour around the city. Show you downtown Miami, show you Brickell, Mary Brickell Village, Brickell City Center, and if we have enough time, probably walk around Brickell Key. So just keep those updates in mind. Now, yesterday was Friday. That was the official last trading day of the month. So I think it's appropriate just before we start. I know it's Saturday. We're not really supposed to talk about the financial markets. I do think it's appropriate. So the S&P 500 closed September down big, which really isn't any surprise because if you've been following Walks on Wall Street, September is usually the worst month for equities. In the months of September, the S&P 500 declined about 244 points, or just shy of 5.5%, closing the month at 4288. So 4,288 is where the S&P 500 stands right now. We'll take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Pretty nasty close as well, ending the month pretty much right on the lows. If my computer would load here, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down about 1,398 points, just about 4%, closing at 33,500. And then last but not least, we'll take a look at the NDX, which is the NASDAQ 100. The NASDAQ closed the month. This is the NASDAQ 100, by the way. Closed the month at 14,700. So we'll see what October brings. We're going to go into some notable earnings reports as we move through Q4. And I guess on Monday, since we're not going to be live, I'd like to wish everybody a happy start to Q4. I can't believe we are already in the final home stretch of the year. But 2023 is almost over, my friends, and that means we must prepare for 2024. Now, another thing, we're not going to do this tonight, but one of the things that happens right at the start of Q4, so October, is a lot of businesses and organizations start planning for next year. Now that I know that may sound a little bit preemptive and a little bit early, but that's what usually happens. So if maybe you're in finance, or maybe you own a small business, or maybe you're an employee, keep that in mind. So I always like to say that as we start Q4 because it doesn't just apply to businesses. I think it applies to yourself, right? You should start your planning for your goals, your aspirations, anything you want to accomplish for 2024. I think it should start now. So since it's the weekend, I would take, tomorrow maybe you can, go to a coffee shop, buy yourself a coffee, sit down just with a notepad and just do some journaling, do some preparing, start to plan out the year, next year in 2024. The reason why corporations are so successful is because they do this planning routinely starting in Q4 so they can get a jump start on the year in Q1. And I think it's appropriate to do that from a personal standpoint as well. Last piece of news here, team, before we get started. I thought I would cover this just because it's breaking news. 88-9, the Senate gives the final approval to keep the government open for 45 days after a chaotic scramble today and fears of a shutdown dominated Washington for weeks. Now, I think you know my take on this, right? We talk about this all the time. The government shutdown news is a continuous loop. And I really don't pay much attention to it ever, at all, for the following reason. It's the same news cycle every single time. You'll have the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, the New York Times, Fox News, CNN hammering and force-feeding this government shutdown news and trying to stoke fear. But it's the same thing every time. The Republicans get their talking points, the Democrats get their talking points, and it's just a big dog and pony show. And then right at the last second, a deal gets done, they kick the can down the road, and there's more government spending. So if I could have any advice or advise, I would just totally block out that news cycle. It's the same thing every time. It's going to be the same thing every time. It's going to be a dog and pony show, back and forth, bickering and fighting. And then, at the very end, a deal goes through. It's like this every time. It's nothing new. So as expected, we're going to kick the can down the road here for another 45 days. The news cycle will start up again. The fear will be stoked, and then it'll come down to the wire, and then we'll kick the can down the road again. Okay, everybody, let me go ahead and close up the laptop here, and we will get started. Thank you all for joining us here on Walks in Wall Street. Actually, I'll say one more thing before we get started. We have been growing really exponentially here on the channel, which I do appreciate. So I want to start off by thanking each and every one of you, the old viewers, the new viewers, and even the viewers in the future. I appreciate you being here. Your time and your presence is valued here. So hopefully you're getting at least something helpful out of the streams each night. So thank you so much for being a part of it. And if you're not, feel free to click the subscribe button and share the show with a friend if you like it. All right, let me go ahead and close up the laptop and we will get started on the stream. Okay, team, and we are off. I want to welcome everybody to Walks in Wall Street. It's a beautiful day here in Manhattan. I should say it's a beautiful night, and the rain has finally stopped. So let me go ahead and scroll up to the top and say hello to everybody in the chat. Brian is here, Jafet Perez, Justin S. Good to see you. 3T3, Rachel K. I see all of our good moderators. Austin City Limits. Sally Hunt is here. Good to see you. Kathy. Welcome, Kathy. Who else we got? Jay Sully, good to see you. Wendy England, Susan Wolin, Colton Manning. Kathy says Mark's mom has been on the phone with her husband's family in Brooklyn. I really hope that they're not flooded. I don't know who that is, but still it matters. Hopefully nobody's flooded. Now, a lot of the flooding has come and gone. The water has receded, thankfully. But look, the city's pretty dry tonight. The city's pretty dry today. We're standing outside of the Trump Tower atrium. Raleigh Hikers is good evening. Bree Grams, welcome. So how did you guys like that little impromptu live stream we had earlier in the day? Very, very seldom on Walks in Wall Street do we find the time to stream during the day, but I found some time today. I had a couple clients cancel their meetings, so I thought we'd do a quick impromptu walk around the Lower Manhattan neighborhood. So we talked about sort of the history of Wall Street. We talked about the Buttonwood Agreement that is actually still encased at the New York Stock Exchange. So if you ever get a chance to visit the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, make sure you ask to see the Buttonwood Agreement 1792. It's one of the oldest documents in US history. And it really established the first stock exchange ever in the United States. Now, keep in mind though, folks, for a moment, this was 1792. So really, they were trading commodities, sugar, things like that. But there's so much history down in Lower Manhattan and on Wall Street. And I love the neighborhood Federal Hall we got to see today. So if you want to check that out, feel free to go back and watch that live stream. But I also recorded a standalone video, which is going to be a little bit higher quality, which should be out later next week. You can see One Vanderbilt in the distance, as well as 270 Park Avenue, which is Jamie Dimon's new building. I see Joe Driver is here, Sam Garcia. So Sam, where you taking us? Or Tom, where you taking us? I don't know. I think we would probably go down to Chinatown. Now, I was in Chinatown today, and it was beautiful. There was like a big street festival going on. There was tons of food. There was, live music. There was events. It was really cool. So maybe we'll check that out. Hey, Christy, good to see you. The LT Prods, the Highline video is very good too. Oh yeah, that's right. So I posted that Highline video. This summer was the first summer that they've opened the brand new Moynihan Highline extension. The thing cost us $50 million, and I think it looks pretty good. Now it's all wood. I think that was so unique about the building, or the extension. It's all wood, but it cost $50 million. We are now looking at 432 Park Avenue. This is Harry Maclow's building, but unfortunately his personal units are going to be foreclosed on, and the auction is going to start on October 11th. Now, quickly, going back to this morning's, or I should say this afternoon's live stream, we saw another Harry Maclow building, which was 1 Wall Street. It's actually the biggest office to condo conversion ever in the city. And in some of the studio apartments at 1 Wall Street, you are looking directly into the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. It's really, really cool. Now, they're pretty expensive, right? Because it's an ultra luxury building. But some of the studios that sold pretty quick, it's about $1.4 million for a studio. But your window is literally looking inside the New York Stock Exchange. That's a once-in-a-lifetime view. I would love to have an apartment like that. We are now walking past Jefferies, which is a big investment bank, right here on the one and only Madison Avenue. Only about a couple blocks away from my office. Hey, the LT Prod is here. What's up? Paul says, love the daytime stream. The seaport views were beautiful. Dan Zhang says, Tom, it's because yesterday was Chinese Mid-Autumn Festival, the Chinese Thanksgiving. Oh, is that right? I didn't know that. Well, happy Thanksgiving. I believe it's also Thanksgiving in Korea. So for all of our Korean viewers, if you're watching from Korea, chances are you have off. So it is Korean Thanksgiving as well. Pretty exciting stuff. All right, here we are at Jefferies. I like this building. It's kind of interesting. It tapers off all the way at the top. Not bad. Augusto says, hey, greetings from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Good to see all of our viewers from Argentina. Welcome, folks. Cynthia Beal is here. Richard Vogel. Zip says, g'day from the land of Oz. Hi from Dave on the Gold Coast. To all of you vicarious Manhattan walkers. What's up? Good to see you. We're going to be walking around Midtown Manhattan today, and maybe we'll make our way down to Chinatown. Boone Lancaster says, Tom, good to see you. Again, pleasure as always listening to you. Best greetings live from Berlin, Germany. I would love to visit Germany one day. Maybe we'll make that happen. Who knows? Looks like we have the FDNY responding to something here. Hopefully nothing major. Hopefully nothing too serious. Maybe just a gas leak. From time to time, some of the restaurants, their alarms could trigger like a gas leak. Hey, Mariana, Texas is here. What's up? Andrew Smith says hello from South Carolina. Me and the wife love your streams. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to take you guys around Manhattan, talk about the financial markets. This is the 5th Avenue, West or East 53rd Street subway station. You can get the E and the F trains up and downtown. And this should take us right outside St. Thomas Church, which is one of my favorite churches in all of the city. And I think you'll see why in just a moment here. This is officially 5th Avenue, but look at the architecture on St. Thomas Church. Looks great. I did see that, Dan saying, that the founder of Evergrande has been arrested. I did see that. I haven't really been following it too in depth, but it'll be interesting to see what comes about of that. Hey, Felipe, what's up? Kathy, welcome. All right, one more shot of St. Thomas Church. And then maybe we'll walk past 53 West 53rd again. Since we're up here, we'll walk past these two major hotels, the St. Regis and the Peninsula. Yeah, Fun Feed says, thank God it's all cleared up. Yeah. No more rain. I mean, it's been raining for like 7 days straight in New York. It's been horrible. This is the University Club. It's on the corner of East 54th Street and 5th Avenue. Look at that. Now inside here is unbelievable. It kind of looks like the Morgan Library inside, but the outside has a really nice facade too. The architectural integrity of the building is amazing. Now I've never been in here, but there's always a lot of high profile individuals in and around the University Club here. Look at that dog across the street. I think he's massive. Hey, Maurice is joining us. Noah wants a sunny day tomorrow in New York City. I can't wait. I can't wait either, man. You know, the sun tried to come out a little bit today. We were down in Battery Park. We were checking out the World Trade Center, as well as the Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island. Because I'll try to get you a little bit of a glimpse inside the University Club. I mean, try to look inside. You have all of these beautiful crown moldings. It kind of resembles the Morgan Library, also the New York Public Library as well. If you want to Google it to see a little bit more information, feel free. It's part of the landmarks of New York City, the University Club. Check out those ceilings, guys. That is unbelievable crown moldings, really beautiful. You can actually see someone's having a drink. Imagine having a drink in there, looking over 5th Avenue. Beautiful. Maybe one day we'll be invited in, who knows? You can see some more of the moldings on the ceiling here. Yeah, it's exuberant, it's really nice. And the facade is quite nice as well. Okay, so to the left, right on West 55th Street. This is the Peninsula, and to the right is going to be the St. Regis. Again, check out the architecture of these buildings. The luminescent gold top is really stunning here. You'll see here the Peninsula, New York. Anybody in the chat ever stay here? Now, during the holidays, the lobby of the Peninsula is really nice. They have it all decorated. I would say it's probably better decorated than the Plaza Hotel. The address is 700 Fifth Avenue. The Peninsula, New York. Very nice and well maintained as well. You have the doorman and the bellman. Now the lobby is spectacular. The lobby is really spectacular here. I'll give you one look from the other side. I love how the lights kind of shine up so you can really see the architecture. Hey, Theo says yes. I haven't stayed here, but I would like to. But then again, I live in New York, so I don't really have any need to stay in a hotel. All right, so we checked out the Peninsula. Let's quickly check out the St. Regis, and then we'll head downtown. And then we'll walk past 53 West 53rd Street one more time. We did walk past that last night, but I think tonight's going to be a little bit more lively. And you can see the restaurant that is exclusive to 53 West 53rd. That's really been a trend in a lot of these Billionaires Row style buildings. You have to have every single amenity as well as private restaurants. But here is the St. Regis. This is another iconic hotel right off of New York City's 5th Avenue. Hey, Mark is here. Says good morning from Perth, Australia. Good to see you, Mark. Welcome everybody from Perth. Now, what I like about it is the logos and the insignia over the revolving doors here, which looks really nice. And it is a Landmarks of New York, St. Regis Hotel, completed in 1904. Now, when it was completed in 1904, this was the highest hotel building in New York. I never knew that until just now. And it's across the street from the Ralph Lauren Polo Bar. This is always like a very hyped up place. I've never been in here, but one of the finest 5-star properties in the world. I would say from 55th Street all the way up to 57th Street, there is a huge collection of 5-star hotels. You have the St. Regis. Oh wow, look at this. This is sort of the lobby or waiting area. Look at that chandelier in there and all of those crown moldings. It's unbelievable. Really stunning in there. So you have the St. Regis, you have the Peninsula, you have the Park Hyatt, you have, I mean, so many options. You have the Mandarin Oriental Hotel, which is in the Deutsche Bank Tower. So much. We'll head back towards Fifth Avenue, and then we'll hit some of the other spots. And then you also have the Park Hyatt, which is in 157. And just a quick reminder for everybody who's new here, 157 West 57th Street was the first building ever on New York City's Billionaires Row. And it was developed by Extel. And Extel also developed the very famous Central Park Tower. So we'll go over to Fifth Avenue and we will walk 2 more blocks over. Oh, and you also have the Amman, New York, which is right on the corner here. We'll take a walk past that too, since we're looking at some 5-star hotels tonight. I believe Amman is the most expensive in terms of per night room rates. I think room rates start at about $1,500 a night. Hey, Peter's here, what's up? Okay, we're now walking up Fifth Avenue. And just to the right, if you look up, this is Trump Tower. Now it's interesting because at the corner of 5th and 57th Street, you'll see the main Louis Vuitton flagship, and you'll also see Tiffany. Now, Louis Vuitton as well as Tiffany is all owned by LVMH, which is one of the most valuable brands in the entire world. And just recently, after the acquisition of Tiffany, they spent $500 million renovating the flagship Tiffany on Fifth Avenue. Now, right as it opened, unfortunately, there was a fire that broke out in the basement, causing a lot of damage. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. Okay, so we are now standing directly across the street from the Trump Tower. Oh, is that right? Someone says the Louis Vuitton building is going to be torn down and a new building and flagship is coming. Wow, I didn't know that. Well, that's really exciting. I didn't know that. I'm surprised. Are they going to build like a taller structure? I don't even know if they can, but interesting. I didn't know that. I'll have to do some more research into that. This is the flagship right here. And right behind me is the Amman, New York. You can see it's sort of like a layer cake at the top. And a lot of these buildings had to be like that to not cast so much shade onto the street. But this is the flagship Tiffany, all brand new. I think it looks great. So we'll make a left on West 57th Street. You can see the Bergdorf Goodman. And then this is the Aman, New York, which is really like a destination hotel. I believe it's a Japanese brand, and in every, I would say, major city, they have a flagship location. And they've just totally remodeled the entire facade of the building. Unfortunately, there still is a little bit of scaffolding here. But you can see this is the front entrance of Aman, New York. And they have a really nice rooftop bar and lounge too. It's a beautiful, beautiful hotel. You can see the doors open automatically. But there is still this scaffolding here. I'm not too sure when they're going to be taking it down, but regardless, does look nice. Hey, Daniel G is joining us from Buenos Aires, Argentina. Now, Daniel, I believe actually, Inter Miami is playing tonight, but Messi is not playing. One of my good buddies is at the game. It's Inter Miami versus NYCFC in Fort Lauderdale. And I don't think Messi's playing tonight. Could anybody confirm that? It's a bummer too, because my friend was really looking forward to seeing Messi play. Obviously, Lionel Messi is the greatest soccer player of all time from Argentina. Yeah, it's just 15. This building right next to it, in clear view, was the first building. Now the triplex, ooh, I think we're buffering. We usually buffer here. I think there's a little bit of a dead zone. All right, I think we should be good now, right? I think we're good. Thumbs up, thumbs down, are we good? We're good now? And Mr. Lingo, you are a weirdo, dude. I'm gonna have to go back and ban you forever. All right, one of the new stream rules is you can't be a creep. So don't put anything like creepy in the chat. You are a weird dude. All right, so this is 6th Avenue. We're gonna have a really good shot of the Steinway building here. Wow, that looks awesome. All right, let's go towards Carnegie Hall. Hey, Golden City is here. What's up?
Hi guys.
All right, Shop Architects, the very front of 111 West 57th Street. Yeah, walk ARQ. You were right. I still think the development company, I mean, Extel, I think puts on projects like nobody else. They've also done One Manhattan Square, which is a really, really nice place all the way downtown. And they have really nice views of the Brooklyn Bridge, Manhattan Bridge, all of downtown Brooklyn. Okay, we're coming up on the Russian Tea Room. Ooh, this is a really good shot of Central Park Tower. So you have Central Park Tower, and then you have 220 Central Park South. And I believe the CEO of Citadel Securities owns 3 units in that building. And then this is the very top of 157. I'm glad it's a clear night out, so you could really see, I mean, just how big these buildings are. It's insane, particularly standing right in front of them. It's wild. Now, the first store you see here is the Park Hyatt. That's a 5-star hotel. The second door is the Residences. Now, one of the perks that you get if you purchase or rent at 157 is you have access to all of the amenities in the 5-star hotel, right at Park Hyatt, which is the saltwater swimming pool. You have a full-service hair salon, an amazing restaurant. Now, the restaurant is called The Living Room. I've actually eaten there a couple times. It's really, really good. And you have 24/7, 365 room service anytime you want. It's an amazing, amazing building. And this is arguably one of the most famous buildings in New York City. This is Carnegie Hall. Hey, Lady Sarita, what's up? Okay, we have reached 7th Avenue. We're gonna make a right because I wanna go past Alwyn Court one more time. Now, all the way in the distance, this is where we started the live stream. This is 432 Park Avenue. Now again, remember, if you tuned into the live stream earlier today, we walked past One Wall Street. And One Wall Street is the city's largest condo conversion, so office to condominium conversion. And that is also put on by Macro Industries or Macro Properties. But besides the big glass Billionaires Row buildings, this is one of my favorites. The exact address is 180 West 58th Street, and it is called Alwyn Court. It sits just behind the New York Athletic Club, and it has one of the best facades anywhere in the city. Look at how amazing it is. You can kind of see inside the building. It's really stunning. Once again, this is called Alwyn Court. Love these lanterns on the side. So Alwyn Court Apartments, built in 1907 to 1909. We'll stand back a little bit so you could see the facade in all its glory, but it may be a little bit too dark for that. But look at the detail. And this goes all the way up. Isn't that amazing? And that wraps around the entire building, by the way. My personal favorite shot is actually when you stand across the street, because it gives you a little bit of a contrast and the diversity of the architectural integrity of the city. I think that's one of the things that I love most about New York, is the architectural diversity. You have old brownstone buildings. You have old railroad style buildings, railroad style apartments. You have neo-Gothic architecture. You have Greco-Roman type architecture, right, with those big columns. And then you have the more modern Billionaires Row-esque towers. So check this out. This is Alwyn Court, and behind you can sort of see that diversity here. Isn't that amazing? So the top of Alwyn Court, and then that is the new New York City. 1,000 foot tall skyscrapers. And if we go a little bit further to the left, you could see Steinway Tower coming in view, which is really cool. I think it may be a little bit too dark for the wide angle. And this is the New York Athletic Club right here. Now, this is really just an amazing shot. Look at that. That is Central Park Tower. That thing is massive. Now, the top 3 floors of the triplex was on the market for $250 million. But they've just recently reduced the price. Oh, look at this. This is a really cool classic car. Would you say this is a Model T, I guess? That's really nice. Very cool. But if you guys are enjoying the live stream so far tonight, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new. We tend to do these live streams 7 days a week, starting at 8:30 p.m. Here you see Central Park Tower right here, and then to the right is 220 Central Park South. This kind of looks like Gotham City here. It looks like a Batman movie, doesn't it? Hey, Lance is here. What's up, Lance? We're checking out New York City's Billionaires Road tonight. And it finally has stopped raining. Now, Vornado put on this project. Steve Roth. These are the main gates that will allow you into the sort of rotunda here. Now, I always tell this story, but since we do have a lot of new viewers, I think it would be appropriate to tell it again. So, notice how 220 Central Park South kind of has two buildings that are sort of semi-connected here. You guys see that? And if I walk over a little bit more, you can kind of see how Central Park Tower and 220 Central Park South are a little bit off-centered. Now, there's a reason for that. So Gary Burnett, who developed this building, and Steve Roth, who developed that building, they actually went out to dinner. And they were like, hey, listen, you know, I know you're building 220 Central Park South, and I know you're building Central Park Tower. Gary Burnett said, your tower is going to obstruct my Central Park view. And Steve Roth was like, hey, listen, pal, let me tell you something. Your tower is going to obstruct my Midtown Manhattan view. So they've officially decided and agreed that they would move the tower and build the tower a little bit off-centered. So Central Park Tower would have a preserved Central Park view, and 220 Central Park South would have a preserved Midtown Manhattan view. And if you want to read about that story for yourself, I have a book recommendation. If you're interested in New York City real estate, particularly real estate development, and you want to know exactly how these developers are able to assemble all of these air rights to build these mega tall towers, well, check out the book Billionaires Row by Catherine Clark. Now, Catherine Clark is one of the most famous and well-renowned real estate journalists and reporters for the Wall Street Journal. And over the years of doing her reporting, she's actually cultivated an amazing book. So check it out, go ahead and purchase it, or get the audiobook, but it's called Billionaires Row. It's fantastic. A lot of people, particularly that aren't involved in the real estate business, they just look at a plot of land and say, oh, they're gonna build some massive, super tall tower. And they think it's easy. But 157 took a decade to assemble all of the air rights. It's called assemblage. It's very, very strategic. It's very capital intensive, and it takes a lot of money and it takes a lot of time to accumulate all of those air rights. What we're looking at right now is the Trump International Hotel and Tower. It sits just on the northernmost side of Columbus Circle here at 59th Street. Hey, the Papa Smurf OG, what's up? We have the FDNY joining the stream. God bless. Thank you for doing what you do. We appreciate it. Big shout out to the FDNY and our good friend, the Papa Smurf. I'm sure you guys were busy with all the flooding. Yeah, Jay Sully's is a decade. Wow, could only imagine the amount of people you have to know. Yeah, it's crazy because, I mean, in New York City, there's limitations on how high you could build. And one of the ways to get around that is by purchasing other buildings' air rights. But it's very strategic, right? And it's not as easy as it seems. And I'll give you a quick example. All right, WSC information. We understand about the money printing. I'll get to that in a second. But it's not as easy as it seems, because if one of these big developers, right, if the word gets out that they're going to build a megatall like Central Park Tower and make $500 million, well, then the building to the right and the left are not going to be so reluctant to sell their air rights, because they'll say, hey, listen, I know you're going to make a fortune on this development, so I'm going to set the price of my building and my air rights at an astronomical level. So you have to be very, very strategic and not to talk about it, right? So it's sort of like playing poker. You can't let the other person know exactly why you're accumulating and assembling these air rights. And that's why it takes decades sometimes to accumulate all these. Now, a good story about 220 Central Park South, right where that building lies, it actually was a rent-controlled apartment building. And if one person doesn't want to leave in that rent-controlled apartment building, well, guess what? It can't sell, and you can't build your super tall tower. So there's been rumors that people who were living in these apartments got bought out to the tune of millions of dollars, right? Just to say, hey, get out. We'll pay you off a couple $1,000,000. You move out, and now we could build our super mega tall tower and sell each one of these condos for, 10, 20 million bucks. So it is a very, very strategic and very hard game. So these real estate developers in New York City, particularly in the ultra luxury market, they put a lot of money on the line, and they could go broke very easily if these projects can't be completed. So it is an extremely, extremely hard process. It's called assemblage, the process of assemblage. Now, I need to get the information on this development right here. Now, from what I heard, this is supposed to be sales, but it's not. Just because of the market environment, it's very tough right now. So I think the developer decided to do all rentals. Let's actually check it out. Now, when I was going to college right around here, I went to a college right behind this building. This is the Deutsche Bank Towers. Speaking of luxury hotels, right here is the Mandarin Oriental. But yeah, let's check out that building. Let's investigate that. We'll see what's going on with it. Yeah, this is Central Park. So for those of you who don't know, right, maybe you're new to New York City and maybe you're new to the stream. Central Park starts right here at 59th Street, Columbus Circle. It extends all the way down Central Park South to 5th Avenue, and then it goes all the way uptown to 110th Street Cathedral Parkway. It's a massive, massive park. It's the largest park in New York City. All right, we'll wait for the light and we'll head out. If you look right here, this NYPD police car, that's one of the brand new Ford Mustang Mach-E's. I actually kind of like those cars. Hey, RB says hello, Tom and all from Miami Beach. Oh man, I'm jealous. I am extremely jealous. And our Lady Sarita, welcome. Okay, let's cross the street. We are now crossing west of Columbus Circle. I want to see what the address is of that building. Hey, Ann R, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Ali Star, welcome. Oh, Anagram, Clarence Jackson, thank you so much. Anagram. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But this is a nice one. Now, I wonder if you could see Central Park from some of the units. I gotta reach out to the developer, but I know that a couple teams were pitching this for sales, but I don't think they want to do sales. I think they want to do rentals, which is unfortunate for salespeople, but wow, look at those windows. I'm sure that's probably the kitchen layout, but I'm wondering if it clears so you could see Central Park. I'm not sure about that. I mean, you'll have an amazing view of Billionaires Row. I mean, look at that. From your apartments, you'll have an unobstructed view of 432, Steinway Tower, 157, 220 Central Park South, and Central Park Tower. But I'm wondering if you could clear the building line to see Central Park. If that's the case, if you can see Central Park, I mean, whoa, those things are probably gonna go for buku dollars. I mean, that's prime real estate. But I don't think it can. Let's see, let's do some investigation here. You know, it doesn't look like it can because the Trump International Hotel and 15 Central Park West are in the way. What do you guys think? So if you're here, you'll have 15 Central Park West blocking Central Park to the north, and then you'll have Trump International Hotel blocking it right in front of you. Maybe partial Central Park views. Interesting. So you have studios to 4-bedroom rental apartments. See, rentals, which that, yeah. I mean, it's unfortunate because this is such a nice building. I just think if market conditions were a little bit better, you know, I think these would sell really well. I really do. So we'll check out 15 Central Park West again, since we're here. 15 Central Park West is nicknamed the Limestone Building. This is the M104.
Loser.
Plains and palm trees. Says, yeah, you may be able to see some of Central Park. Someone says perhaps Trump could lower his building a few floors. I've been up in some of the units there. Before I joined my sales team, we used to have a $35 million listing at the penthouse here, but the Alexander brothers took it over and I think they sold it, which is all right. I have a lot of respect for them. If you've ever heard of Tal Alexander, he used to have him and his brother used to have the most successful team at Douglas Elliman, and they broke off and started their own company, and they took over our listing. It was at 35, I think it was on the market for 35 million. The place was unreal. Like, just, I can't even describe how amazing it was. The views were just insane, like really, really insane. Yeah, the views were amazing there. Now this is 15 Central Park West. Okay, let's cross and then let's make our way downtown. This is what is the average rental in and around Miami for a 1-bedroom apartment in the Bay Area. You could find one for $2,200. It's actually probably close to that. One of my good friends just rented his studio for I think $2,800 in Miami. Well, that was in downtown Miami in a nice place. But, you know, you can rent a single family home in Miami. 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, about 1,500 square feet for like $3,800, which is a lot because, you know, and those deals will cash flow really well. I mean, my place is right around there. 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 1,200 square feet. And I could probably get it right around there, like $3,800. So I mean, the deal is good. But I bought it a long time ago, before you had this massive astronomical explosion in real estate prices. You know what I just noticed? Look at how beautiful the moon is tonight. I think that's a full moon over Manhattan. It's really nice. This is West 61st Street. And we are standing outside the Trump International Hotel. But this is one of the most exclusive and most expensive condos in all of New York City. 15 Central Park West, which was finished in the depths of the financial crisis in 2008. Now, Wall Street, there's a lot of Wall Street titans in here, from hedge fund managers, private equity, venture capital, investment banking tycoons. I believe the CEO of Citi and the former CEO of Goldman Sachs, Lloyd Blankfein, also has... What's going on? Oh, it looks like it was an undercover. What was I saying? Oh yeah, former Goldman Sachs CEO Lloyd Blankfein has a place there. Lots of big notable hedge fund managers. Hey, Joe is here. Hey, Joe. So this is the Trump International Hotel and Tower. We've reviewed this many times, but there's a lot of new people here, so we'll review it again. There's 3 distinct doors. Number 1 is the residences. So if you own a condo here at the Trump International Hotel and Tower, you will enter right here. If you're staying at the beautiful hotel, which is amazing, by the way, I've stayed here. It's a great place, right? You enter right through the middle. And then the last door is a very famous restaurant. It's a Michelin star restaurant. I think it's pronounced Jean-Georges. TD. Is Teresa Diaz in here? I gotta look for her. I'm horrible with the pronunciation, but I think it's pronounced Jean-Georges. Let me look for TD. Teresa, are you in here? She's probably here somewhere. She's usually keeping the time. Hey, Julia M, what's up? Good to see you. Yeah, so you have 3 main distinct entrances. This is the hotel and the residences. Now, this is a really good building because it has a swimming pool, it has a big business center, as you can imagine, and it also has a really nice gym. So if you own, you also can have access to those amenities as well as room service from the Michelin star hotel right here, Jean-Georges. All right, team, let's head downtown. Oh, you know what? It says it's 62 degrees out. There's no way it feels like 62. It actually feels a lot warmer than that. Maybe I'm just getting adjusted to the weather. This is the main subway entrance to 59th Street, Columbus Circle.
Go to academia. Yeah, it's actually just, it's an MLM. It's multi-level marketing. It's like...
Okay, let's take a quick walk past Deutsche Bank. Now, if you remember from our live stream this morning, Deutsche Bank used to be located at 60 Wall Street They've since vacated the premise and they've entered the old Time Warner Center, which is right here, which is now called Deutsche Bank Tower. So when you think about the physical street of Wall Street, many people who are not too familiar with the financial industry, investment banking, hedge fund business, there's not a lot of financial activity that goes on the physical street of Wall Street anymore. The New York Stock Exchange is pretty much just like a TV studio and a historical society. Now, there is still market making that goes on at the floor of the New York Stock Exchange, but nothing like it was before. And that's because we have the internet, we have the introduction of algorithmic trading, and the like. So if you really want to think about Wall Street, right, investment banking, the family office business, hedge funds, private equity, venture capital, I personally think of Park Avenue, right? Think about Grand Central Station, just north of Grand Central. Think of Midtown Manhattan. Think of just north of Times Square, right? You have Morgan Stanley, you have Barclays, you have the French investment bank, BNP Paribas. I would say the only real notable investment bank that is, it's not on Wall Street, but it's close-ish, is Goldman Sachs, and that is 200 West Street, right across the street from the beautiful One World Trade Center. But now even Deutsche Bank, the last standing bulge bracket, is now here. I think this is a much better location. I mean, it's modern, it's new, there's tons of things to do. There's restaurants, there's a Whole Foods. It's just an amazing place, and you're very strategically placed next to probably some of your clients who may live on Billionaires Row. Let me see if I can get you guys in here for a second. I'll just show you what it's like to step inside the Deutsche Bank Towers and the shops at Columbus Circle. Ooh, it's freezing in here. The AC is cranked. So in the winter, they'll have a lot of the holiday Christmas lights hung from the ceilings, and they actually have a really nice light show here. You can see it says the shops at Columbus Circle. Now, it's not open 24/7. They're actually closing it now. And right down here is the Whole Foods, but it's closed now, so you can only go out. So we will go out now. It's like an ice box in there, which is good. This is a really cool shot too, because you can see all the way across Central Park to the east side of Manhattan. And right here, everybody, this building, you guys see this building right there? It's encased in scaffolding. That's on 5th Avenue, right on the corner of Central Park South and 5th. It is the Sherry Netherland. Now, we always tell this story, we always talk about it, but I love the Sherry Netherland. And for all of those Wall Street enthusiasts, there was a famous trader that went by the name of Jesse Livermore. And there's a really good book too. It's one of my favorite books of all time. It's called Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. And it's based upon the life of Jesse Livermore. So he would go down to Wall Street and trade in the bucket shops. That's what they were called back in the day. Sort of like the bootleg broker dealers. And then he would come all the way uptown to Central Park South. He would go into the Sherry Netherland at the bar, and he would have a cocktail at the end of the day after he made his fortune trading on Wall Street. Now, rumor has it, on Thanksgiving Day, he was very depressed. He recently made a couple bad trades, and he was broke. He went into the cloakroom at the Sherry Netherland, and he took his life. He killed himself on Thanksgiving. Now, in the Wall Street community, there's been some rumors that there was potentially some nefarious activity that went on. Some say he was killed, some say that the mafia took him out. I guess we'll never know. But he was a great trader, and if you want to read the book, it is Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. If you've heard of Paul Tudor Jones, in my opinion, one of the greatest position size traders that ever lived. He successfully called the 1987 stock market crash. Rumor has it, if you want to work at Tudor Investments, you have to read Reminiscences of a Stock Operator before you could start. So check it out. It's a really good book, one of my favorite books of all time. Okay, let's head downtown, guys. Hey, Alan says, hey, Tom, do you know where your ancestors came from in Ireland? I think I do. It's called County Mayo. Now, I'm half and half Irish-Italian, the most stereotypical Long Island, New York mix. But I believe it's called County Mayo, Ireland. Not sure if anybody's familiar with that. But yeah, my family came over to New York through Ellis Island, and they were in the alcohol business. So they owned a lot of bars, and during Prohibition, we owned speakeasy bars near Times Square. Okay, back on Billionaires Row, we are gonna cross southbound and hopefully go all the way down to 34th Street Penn Station. And if we have enough time, depending on how well the battery holds up, we'll check out Chinatown. That guy had like a crazed look in his eye. I think we're about to pass the Wingstop. I actually wouldn't mind getting Wingstop tonight. I very, very seldom ever eat it, but in all honesty, I really like that place. They have very good wings. I think we went over this before, but has anybody here in the chat been to Wingstop before? It's publicly traded under the ticker symbol WING. It's actually good. Now, I also hear the franchise, because I believe it is a franchise, right? I heard it's one of the most lucrative franchise brands ever. Serge says get Adele's. Oh my God, we'll have to check on that line. It's probably a 5-hour line tonight. I do like halal food though. Halal is some of my favorite food. Again, I don't eat it all the time because it's a little bit too greasy, but I love halal food. I think New York City, out of all the major cities in the United States, has the best halal food options. Dan Zank says, Tom, have you ever had... I have never had Jollibee, no. Is it good? Bighorn MT, what's up? Jay Grant says my son loves Wingstop. I never get Wingstop in New York. I always get Wingstop in Miami because in the town I live in, they have 2 locations. Sharon says, what do you usually order at halal places? It's a good question. I usually get a mix. I usually get mix over rice, no salad. I don't like the salad. Look at this horse. That horse was going fast. All right, this is the soup spot that was in the show Seinfeld. But yeah, I usually get a mix over rice, no salad. And if the place has spicy rice, I'll usually get the spicy rice. What about you? Someone says, what are your thoughts on WeWork? So funny story about WeWork. I think I told this multiple times, but I met the founder, Adam Newman of WeWork. I met him and all of his team at 1166 Avenue of the Americas. So he came to my old office. And the reason for this, it's a long story, but SoftBank acquired a massive stake in the company I was working for at the time. And in the Vision Fund, SoftBank also owned a massive position in WeWork. So I was a sales guy at the time, and I was in the office late. I was in the office late at night. And I was the only one in the office, and in walks Marcelo. I'm not sure if you know who Marcelo is. We'll turn down here and get away from that. But if you don't know who Marcelo is, he walks in. Now, Marcelo made his billions with Brightstar. I'm not sure if anybody knows that company, Brightstar. He sold it, I believe, to Sprint at the time. And also Adam Newman. And Adam Newman came into the office, and he was with like 5 other people, and they were all in skinny jeans and ripped t-shirts, and they all had beanies on. And they were laughing, they were having a good time. And how they describe Adam Newman, and I got nothing against the guy at all. Nothing against the guy. He was a nice guy when I met him. Now, all of these are allegations, right? His spending habits. I think he bought, the rumor has it he bought his kid like a Gulfstream jet to fly around on, and all. He just spent frivolous spending. Now, those are all allegations, but just from the little that I met him, I can kind of see how those allegations may be true. But again, those are just allegations. I think WeWork was a great idea, but managed horribly. And I actually have an interesting thesis as it relates to the commercial real estate across the United States. Now, think about it like this. And I know it's Saturday where we're not really supposed to be talking about the financial markets, but here's an interesting thesis, and let me know what you guys think. So as we know, vacancy rates are really ticking up, particularly in Class B and Class C office towers across the United States. And all of this commercial paper, so all of this commercial debt, is going to mature and roll over, right? Now, when it rolls over, it's going to mature at much higher rates, much higher rates. Now, WeWork is a major tenant. Now, I'm not sure the exact percentage. Oh, I think that was a rat. I don't know the exact percentage, but WeWork leases millions of square footage of office space here in the United States. If WeWork truly goes under, that could be even a bigger blow to the commercial real estate market, because if you think about it, it's almost as if WeWork is subsidizing a lot of these landlords. And I never really thought about it like that before, but I was talking to one of my really good friends who works in private equity, and he was like, WeWork is burning tons and tons of cash, and they're probably gonna go bankrupt. And they lease millions of square footage of office space. So if they go, whoa, they essentially subsidize a lot of landlords out there. So, we'll keep our eye on that. But hey, Colton Manning, what's up? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. If you guys are enjoying tonight's live stream, feel free to leave a like on the video and click the subscribe button if you're new here. Also, if you're moving to New York City, if you're thinking about renting, buying, or selling, and you need help from a trusted advisor, feel free to reach out to me at the email address below. You could reach out to us at the Kirsten Jordan team at Douglas Elliman. We are one of the top sales teams in the entire country, and we specialize in high-end luxury real estate and development. So this is the 50th Street subway station. You get the C and E trains Uptown in Queens. Yeah, Eric's empty office space is why World Trade Center Tower 2 is not being built. You know, they've also, you know, we could talk commercial real estate all day. I'm actually working a couple really, well, I don't like talking about the deals for obvious reasons until they close. But we'll talk about something unrelated, but it's kind of related. The new Penn 2 project that is going on down at 34th Street, Penn Station. One of the buildings that was developed in 2019 is already in foreclosure and it's sold for 16 million bucks. That's like pennies. 16 million bucks is like a third of the construction costs, maybe even less. So there's going to be opportunities out there, for sure, opportunities. And I think that's going to give the city of New York a lot of new product. Because the problem that we're having now is we have a lot of old product on the market. And the current owners, it doesn't make financial sense for them to put work into it. But, you know, if they just sort of give the properties back to the banks or go into foreclosure or something like that, there's going to be investors that'll think contrarian and they'll say, all right, I'll pick up this, you know, $85 million office building for 35 million bucks. I'll put $20 million into it. I'll make it nice. You know, maybe I could ask the city to put a couple condominium units in there and I'll turn a nice profit, and then, you know, businesses will get a lot of new product. So that's good in a business cycle. All of that is good. So you should be really paying attention to all these foreclosure documents. You should be watching that like a hawk. I know it's boring and I know it's like very black and white, but that's how you make the Thunder money. You gotta stay in the game. You gotta be watching everything, and you gotta be knowing what's going on at every building. Who owns it? How much debt's on it? When's it gonna roll over? Is it going into foreclosure? When's the auction? How do you get involved? Right? Always, always, always keep your head in the game. Now, this is a really cool contrast here. Look at this. You have these really nice original buildings in New York with those cool fire escapes. And then you have all this new product. Hey, Cherry Groove, what's up? Good to see you, Cherry Groove. Says, hey, Tom. Are you working at Element now? So I work for Kirsten Jordan and her husband. So I'm on the KJ team, and then I work for Kirsten's husband, Stefano, his real estate investment company. But Cherry Groove, it's so good to see you. NYC Cherry Groove was one of our first viewers ever. And he's our first moderator. I think NYC Cherry Groove is the first moderator ever on Walks on Wall Street. Maybe Cherry Groove and Sunshine After Rain, I want to say. So thank you for helping out with the stream. I appreciate that very much. Hopefully you had a great summer and a good start to the fall. And hopefully you stayed dry during the crazy pounding rain we had. So, all right, we are in Times Square. And I want to take you to the old Lehman Brothers, which is now Barclays Investment Bank. And since we've been talking about halal food, let's actually go and get some. Well, we're not going to physically go get some. We'll just check out the line. Cherry Groove, any advice you have for me? Just getting going. Starting a new venture. Any words of wisdom? All right, if anybody has seen all of those old documentaries outlining the great financial crisis. Chances are you've seen this facade before, particularly right here, those revolving doors. This used to be Lehman Brothers. So when Lehman Brothers went under, I think in September of 2008, hold on, let me make sure I'm in 1080p. For some reason, I just got a notification this is 720.
Babe, it's right.
Is this 1080p?
Do you want to stop or something like that?
Anyway, I don't know, it should be. Maybe it's just my phone. I guess it doesn't matter. What were we saying? Oh yeah, Lehman Brothers. So if you've ever seen any of those CNBC documentaries, those Bloomberg documentaries of the great financial crisis, chances are you've seen these revolving doors right here. This is where all of the journalists were sitting as all of the investment bankers were coming out of these doors right here at 745 7th Avenue. And they were holding their cardboard boxes because they were all getting laid off. They were all getting fired because the bank went under. Happened right here. And after, the British investment bank Barclays took over. Now, French investment bank BNP Paribas is very close. I don't know if we're gonna have enough time to walk past there tonight. But back in the day, and this was only maybe 5 years ago, or maybe 7 years ago now, a helicopter actually crash landed, unfortunately, on top of the French investment bank over there, which is really tragic. Thankfully, there was not a lot of casualties. There was only one, but still, it's extremely tragic. Even one is horrible. But it could have been a lot worse. I mean, imagine if the helicopter crashed literally on the street. It would have been horrible. But it was a very foggy day in Manhattan, and the helicopter was never even supposed to take off, but it did. And the pilot lost control, the visibility was horrible, and crashed. Yeah, that's true. Bear Stearns went under too, and JP Morgan took over. You're right. Okay, we are getting 1080p. That's weird. I don't know why my phone... Maybe it's just the streaming software. We use Prism, and Prism has been having a lot of issues lately. Cam 1925 says, you sound like Brian Kilme. Hello from Florida. I am Brian Kilme. We do Walks on Wall Street, and then we do the Fox News show a little later. What's that Fox News show called? The Five or something. What's the Fox News show called with the or is that Brian Kilme? No, I'm thinking of someone else. I never really watched the news. I'm thinking of Gutfeld. Greg Gutfeld, that's who I was thinking of. Brian Kilme is somebody completely different. Who is Brian Kilme? Is he a New York Yankee? Aaron Judge and Brian Kilme or something? I don't know. I'm tired. All right, let's check out the line of Adele's Famous. I bet it's all the way down the block. New York Yankee comment. Aaron Judge and Brian Kilme, that's hilarious. This is beautiful here. Radio City Music Hall. You know what? I don't even think Adele's is out tonight. Wow, that's so strange. Are they over here? Oh, they're over here. I always get that mixed up. They used to be right there, but now they're on the other side of the street. Now, speaking of Fox News, and also speaking of the financial markets, one of my favorite publications of all time is Investors Business Daily. Now, if you don't know, Investors Business Daily was founded by William J. O'Neill, or Bill O'Neill. And Bill O'Neill unfortunately passed away earlier this year. He was probably one of the greatest American success stories of all time. And before Bill O'Neill passed away, he sold Investors Business Daily, I think for $250 million to News Corporation, which is right here. So now News Corporation owns Fox News, Investors Business Daily, Barron's, the Wall Street Journal, all under the same umbrella. Wow, so this is the line for Adele's Famous. This is probably, I mean, you're talking about 3-4 hour line right here. This is a massive line. It almost extends all the way to the Diamond District. Yeah, so isn't Rupert Murdoch's son taking over, I believe? I believe his son is going to take over. He put a book out, I think. I never read it. All right, West 48th Street. All right, here it is, News Corporation, where the truth is. Oh no, that's not. That's hilarious. I was actually going to read that. That's some vandalism we got going on there. Oh, it looks like they're setting up something out here. So vandalism aside, I think this looks like a pretty nice setup. Dan Russell, isn't that hilarious? I wasn't even paying attention. I was about to say Fox News. Anyway, the main newsroom is right here. You can kind of see some of the anchors up there. T-Base, Tom, do you enjoy Halloween? I wouldn't say I enjoy it. But yeah, I like it. I think the city is so fun. And I think everybody in the chat who's been a subscriber of Walks on Wall Street could sort of attest to that, right? Halloween in New York City is just crazy. That's really the only way I could explain it. If anybody's been around the East Village, West Village, Washington Square Park, St. Mark's Place during Halloween, it's freaking nuts, and I love it. I don't partake in any of the festivities. I just observe. I mean, it's a show and a half. Okay, this is now the Diamond District in New York. I think gold is getting hit really hard. It failed to break out over $2,000 an ounce, which kind of makes sense because CPI has been cratering. So you know you're in the Diamond District when you see these two big sort of lamps here. should say light posts that sort of look like diamonds. Now the dollar, the US dollar has been getting a massive, massive bid. So the dollar's getting stronger, oil's getting stronger, and rates are going up. And you sort of have this, one of the main things that is fueling this big dollar rally is the Federal Reserve tightening monetary policy and yields on treasuries going up. Because you have to think about it like this, right? Think about it from, I always say, when you're trying to build an investment thesis, it's important to start at your macro view and then hammer down to your micro view. So US treasuries or T-bills, right? You can get a 6-month T-bill right now at 5.5%. But here's the thing, remember, if you want to buy treasuries, you have to purchase them in US dollars. You cannot purchase them in foreign currency for obvious reasons. So foreign investors, right, if you have, Thai baht, if you have, pesos or whatever, name your currency, right? You have to convert your foreign currency into US dollars in order to buy treasuries. And since fixed income in the United States is very, very attractive right now, particularly for sovereign debt, US debt, you have so many wealthy individuals, sovereign wealth funds, converting their foreign currency into dollars, thus bidding up the price of dollars to buy treasuries. So you sort of have this, big pressure, upward pressure again on the US dollar. And that wreaks havoc on equities, particularly US equities. Because when the dollar is very, very strong, and if you're a big multinational corporation, I'll give you an example like Apple, right? Apple sells their iPhones all over the world. Apple sells their software all over the world in foreign currency. So when it comes time for earnings and they have to convert that foreign currency into US dollars, well, guess what? That foreign currency can now buy a lot less US dollars. So you sort of have this really, really aggressive cycle here where rates are going up. The rest of the world understands that US debt is the safest debt on the planet, right? We've never defaulted on our debt obligations. So everybody is crowding into the US dollar to buy treasuries, and that's really gonna clobber corporate earnings. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I feel like there's a lot of people out tonight. So we'll come down by the Bank of America Tower, 42nd Street and Bryant Park. And you can see all the way down to the World Trade Center. Hey, B Cruz is here. What's up? JF, you can purchase treasuries through a broker. But you also, I would say the easiest and safest way, you could go to Treasury Direct, which is directly from the government. But again, this isn't advice for anybody. We just, essentially what Walks on Wall Street is, we walk around the city and we just have an open discussion on the financial markets. Nothing is advice. This is Brian Moynihan's company. This is Bank of America Tower. Hey, Delaware Golds is great explanation. Thank you so much. Ooh, lots of traffic, dangerous. Daryl says, how's your allergies doing today, Tom? They're not too bad. Because I haven't been to Red Hook, Brooklyn in a while, but I'm gonna be there tomorrow for an open house. We have a big open house tomorrow in Red Hook. Oh, by the way, if you guys wanna see me in the New York Times, as well as two of my other teammates, buy the New York Times this weekend. You'll see us. Our listing is featured in the real estate page of the New York Times. We have the most expensive listing in all of Red Hook, Brooklyn. So 199 Conover Street, apartment 3B. Yeah, it was featured in the New York Times today, so go check it out. So Kirsten Jordan, Jill Purcell, Sarah Kennedy, and myself. I love this shot here because you can see a little bit of the Empire State Building. You can see all the way down to the World Trade Center. And you have a lot of tourist activity picking up near 42nd Street, which is really nice. It's just crazy seeing this because I think back to 2020. And for those of you who are watching the streams, even in 2021, I mean, it was a ghost town. It was crazy. I mean, I was skateboarding in the middle of the street. It was nuts. The city has made a full recovery. In terms of tourist activity. All right, this is Salesforce Tower, Mark Benioff. Salesforce is publicly traded under the ticker symbol CRM. Now check this out, everybody. This is probably the best shot of the night. Would you agree? The spire of One Vanderbilt is sandwiching the moon perfectly right here. Ralph, yeah, so the interest rates that you see on treasuries are per annum interest. Rocky Raccoons to zoom in a bit, okay. Oh wow, that is such a cool shot. Could somebody take a screenshot of that? Let's see if we could see the people in the, there's an observation deck here. Sometimes we could see the people standing in the window. Oh, maybe closed. Anyway, you also have the Empire State Building. Oh, by the way, so next week is October, which means our newsletter is coming back. So if you like all of the financial talk, if you like the real estate talk, and you want some live insights from the floor of the New York City luxury real estate market, if you type !news, N-E-W-S, in the chat, it'll drop the link to the Behind the Street newsletter that is written by myself, and we will be releasing that every other week. So it will drop the Substack link, and you can feel free to sign up for free. Hey, Juan Fernandez. Hey, Juan, from Miami, Florida. This is One Times Square. You can see this is the ball that they drop on New Year's Eve to ring in the new year. Hey, buy the book. What's up? Hey, James, as I've been watching videos of Manhattan flooding, what's really going on? Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, New York City is a very, very big place, guys. New York City is massive. Now, when they report on the news that New York City is flooding, they don't literally mean like everywhere on the entire island of Manhattan, you're up to chest deep water. No, it's the spots that have lower elevation, and in the subways, it floods. We had 7 days of rain, and this isn't new. If you're a New Yorker, you know this isn't new at all. All of the same spots flood all the time. Brooklyn, New York, particularly parts of Red Hook, Borough Park, Park Slope, it floods a lot. Lower Manhattan, East Village. It's not like, you know, don't think it's like the day after tomorrow where you're trudging down 42nd Street in chest deep water. No, it's not that at all. It's when you go into the subway, in some select subway stations, there's water, it's flooded. It's not all over the place. Okay, this is Times Square. Streaming from Miami, yeah. Now, EY just recently vacated their office tower right here in Times Square. Moved to the Hudson Yards. Go over one more and then we'll make a left. Okay, this should be a straight shot to 34th Street, Penn Station. Someone says go to Times Square tonight. We are here, we're here. We're at the southernmost side of Times Square, I would say. Now this Red Lobster here, anybody see this on the corner of West 41st Street? I'm sure all of you have seen the show Shark Tank, right? Now, Damon John, I think, worked here at Red Lobster when he was starting FUBU. Which is one of the, at the time, very successful clothing brand. Now he's on the Shark Tank. Someone says, I can't believe FUBU is a thing. I think that's way before my time, I think. What year was FUBU, everybody? Anybody know what year FUBU was like really big and in? What, the 90s? Or early 2000s? I don't know. I don't even know. I know it was massive. Someone says 1996. That's right around where I was born, so it's probably why I don't really know about it. I mean, I obviously know the brand FUBU, but I don't know anybody who's ever worn it. That was the year I was born. Kevin Lane says, can you pass by the JP Morgan Chase headquarters? The new one, 270 Park. Ooh, we just passed that. I think it's gonna be a little bit too far to pass today. We'll do that tomorrow on Sunday night, our Markets to Look Ahead stream. We will pass 270 Park Avenue. Coming up here, I actually have to put you guys down for a second. I gotta tie my shoe. So we have to switch to the rat camera. Yeah, Damon John Hollis, Queens. All right, I gotta find a place to put you guys down. I don't want you guys to get too dirty. A few rats. Okay, you guys can handle that. Too many, you may get overwhelmed. Hey, Joey B. Good to see ya. You know, I have to check my iPhone after this because we are getting our steps in tonight, team. We did a 2-hour stream earlier today. We banged out the miles. And then we're really hammering out the miles here again. All right, I think this is kind of safe here. How'd you guys do? You guys all right? Yeah, I gotta check how many steps we've done today. Someone says lamb gyro, please. I could go for one too. I'm actually really in the mood for lamb gyro, actually. But if I could, like if I could snap my fingers and get anything I wanted in the city right now, I think it would be Adele's Famous. I would get a mix over rice, no salad. The place is great. Hopefully we'll be good when we
What kind of fucking weirdo, man? You weird, man. Yo, weird fucking person.
get away from that. A little bit of a dispute. West 38th Street. Melt says, I love cop. What do they serve here? I've never been. Oh, it's Mediterranean food. Maybe I'll try it one day. Huh. I've never had this. I always see the locations around Manhattan, but I've yet to try it. Thank you for the recommendation. So Meld, how much is a plate? Like if I walk in there, is it going to be like Chipotle style prices, would you say? Sort of the fast casual, like 12 bucks, 15 bucks? Well, now Chipotle is not even $12 or $15 anymore. It's like $20. Hey, Kathy Lyons says, thank you, Tom. I had a great time. Good night, everybody. Thank you, Kathy Lyons. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us, and hopefully you have a great Sunday. Richard Vogel says it's healthy food. Hey, Alan Duncan, thank you so much. Says, thanks, Tom, for the entertainment over the summer between you and Safat. Hey, my friend Safat. And Walking Commuter, great lads. Would have thought it would be so enjoyable. Hey, thank you so much, Alan. You're very, very kind donation. You were very, very nice. You didn't have to do that. Very kind of you. Thank you for the support. Yeah, Safat is a good friend of mine. He runs New York City Walking Show and Walking Commuter. There's actually a running joke. People think that Walking Commuter and I are the same person. I guess we sound the same. There's always a comment there that says you sound like Walking Commuter, but yeah, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. And thank you for the support. Hey, Brian, take care. You have to hop off. Appreciate it. Alan, hopefully you can visit us sometime in New York City. Maybe you'll make it over here sometime. All right, we just missed the light. That's okay. We're standing across the street from the Shake Shack. Hey, Kevin Lane says, Tom, you may see Taylor Swift around tonight or tomorrow. Oh, really? Is she performing in Madison Square Garden? I didn't know that. Cool. Hey, Carmen Dukes says, greetings from Guyana. Good to see you. Cherry Groove says, Tom, have you done the Long Island Railroad, the Grand Central? I have. It's a pretty good experience. I like it. The only thing is it takes a while because it's so far underground. And you know what, Cherry Groove? I feel as if the terminal's like a little bit too detached, to be honest. I feel like it's a little bit too detached. And I think you can sort of understand what I'm talking about because you have to go through the food court, you have to go down under and like through these sort of like makeshift doors. It doesn't really flow nicely, but at least the terminal's new and it's clean. But I don't know, it's very, very far underground. So it takes a good 5 to 10 minutes to get to street level. But yeah, I've taken it. I like it. It's convenient whenever I commute from Long Island because my office is, you know, on the east side of Manhattan now. All right, this is Herald Square with the beautiful view of the Empire State Building. This is Macy's. Pretty soon, before you know it, we will be doing walking tours of the windows at Macy's. The very famous Christmas and holiday windows here. Hey, Parker BG says, Tom, what's a city in another country you'd like to visit and do a live stream walk? That's a good question. I don't know if I want to do a live stream walk somewhere else though, because I don't actually like doing live streams in places that I don't know, and I think other countries it's almost kind of disrespectful to live stream. Like in a country like the United States and New York, I mean, you know, things are so bizarre here. New York City is such a bizarre place, right? I mean, the craziest thing you can think of, it's normal here. So I wouldn't really want to go to another country and do a stream. I would feel like I'm being a little bit invasive or disrespectful, but maybe Seoul, Korea. Yeah, I want to go to Seoul. I think that'd be a pretty cool spot. Maybe Tokyo, Japan. But I don't know if I want to stream there. It's like, it's a different culture, right? In New York City, I mean, everybody's crazy, everybody's bonkers, including myself. So it's not, you know, you look at a person live streaming, nobody really cares. But I think maybe in other cultures, it's like an invasion of privacy. Hey, Vivian Francesca. Hey, awesome. So Sunny Isles Beach. I will be there on Tuesday. I will be right in Sunny Isles Beach. Maybe we'll have to do a little live stream from Sunny Isles. JM says Amsterdam. Yeah, I mean, I definitely want to travel for sure. I want to visit Singapore, London. I want to visit London really, really badly. But after, you know, all of the other places. Because I think London is similar to New York. You know, everybody's a hustler. You have a big finance community there. Ooh, Joe C says, have you ever been to Lisbon, Portugal? I have not, but I would definitely be open to going to Lisbon. Maybe Buenos Aires. We have a lot of viewers from Buenos Aires, Argentina, so absolutely I want to go there. Yeah, Buenos Aires, Argentina is definitely one. Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. What else? I'm trying to think. There's so many cool places. Someone says you'll get stolen in Rio. Yeah, I wouldn't stream. I would just go there to enjoy the city. Where else would be a cool spot? I like the tropics. Kingston, Jamaica. What else? St. Bart's. Uruguay. I really want to go to a cool country in Africa. Obviously, Egypt would be cool to see the pyramids and all that. Anthony 18 says Jamaica is great. I loved it. I'm a big tropics guy. It may not seem like it because we're in New York, but I always joke, I really think that I should have been born somewhere in the tropics. Palm trees, 90 degrees all year round. Toronto, Canada, that's close. I love Toronto. I love Canada. Speaking of Canada, NNB 045. Ooh, yeah, don't forget the Spain pictures I showed you. That was beautiful. That was awesome. All right, everybody. I think we're going over 2 hours here. So I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight on Walks in Wall Street. If you're new here, please click the subscribe button, turn on post notifications, and hit the like button on the video. We will see you all tomorrow here live from New York City starting at 8:30 p.m. If you enjoyed the stream tonight, feel free to come back and join us tomorrow. We go live 7 days a week starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So thank you all for joining. Enjoy your Sunday tomorrow, and we will see you all back on Walks in Wall Street tomorrow night. Joseph Hardaway, appreciate it. Abdullah, Stephen Bate, Cameron Duke, Hawaii, Rocky Raccoon, Parker, thank you so much. Jay Grant, Madison 32, Josie, NMB 045, Lorraine Peters, all of our great moderators. It's Bob Johnson, Austin City Limits, Tatted Tara. There's always a bull market somewhere. You just need to know where to look. And I will see everybody right back here tomorrow live at 8:30. Take care.